All right, so today what we're going to do, take two, I'll explain that in a second, is go through the Google March Core update that was just announced on March the 5th. It recently just finished. We'll come on to that and some of the delays around that too. And this is the second time I'm recording the stream because I accidentally ended it a second ago. Technology, eh? Technology. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So, with the March Google Core update, some of the recent announcements, and I'll just quickly run through and recap what I mentioned a few minutes ago. If you saw that original stream, is that number one, there was the announcement, the public announcement of the end of the core update. But actually, Google have said that it had already finished 7 days, so a week before it was publicly announced as finished, right? So Google had finished the core update 7 days before it was actually announced that it finished. Now, I'll come on to why that's important in a second. But one of the other things that Google have released is the submit ranking feedback about the March Core update form. So I'm going to present my screen. I'll show you exactly what I mean and what that involves. But as you can see right here on the screen, is you can see that they've created this feedback form on docs.google.com. That's basically a feedback form where you can provide feedback following the completion of the March 2024 core update. So if you're on Twitter and you see a lot of SEO feedback, you'll see that right now the news and the trending sentiment around SEO is pretty negative, right? So there's a lot of people worried about the sites getting hit. There's a lot of confusion about the whole situation. There's a lot of collateral damage in terms of human sites and really well-written websites actually getting hit. And I'll come on to the reasons why I think that might be in a second. But as you can see, you can actually submit a feedback form. Now, I don't know what happens after you submit the feedback. But basically, what you can do here is you can put in the query. So you can say, okay, I search for this on Google, I search for can cats eat bananas, and then you can select the option that closely matches the issue you're reporting. So my page no longer ranks in the top 10, or my page is in the top 10 but no longer as high as it was. Someone else's page should be ranking. I'm not sure exactly what they're planning to do with this, but I've never seen that before. Maybe there's been things like this in the past and I've just not paid attention. But it's quite interesting to see that there is a feedback form for SEOs and website owners where they can say, oh, my website is no longer in the top 10. Submit it directly to Google, provide some additional details. I don't know what's going to happen or what's going to come out of that, but it's quite interesting to see that. Now, one of the other things that got announced during the helpful content update was that it was going to reduce unhelpful content by 40%, right? So Google said this was all about targeting new spam policies. The update aims to reduce low quality unoriginal content, and new spam policies targeted scaled content abuse, site reputation abuse, and expired domain abuse. So these are the things that the core update was targeting. And I don't know about you, but from what I've seen in the the actual rankings right now, it seems like the websites that benefited the most. So, for example, if we open, let's say, ClickSo over here, and I'll show you some examples. The websites that have benefited the most seem to be the ones that are already getting millions of traffic and then have taken a big spike. And the other ones that have benefited the most tend to be e-commerce sites. So let me show you some examples and we'll run through these together. So one of the biggest ones that we all know about is reddit.com. And if we plug them into ClickSo like so, you can see that their traffic has increased exponentially since the Google Core update and helpful content update last year. And I'll run through some of the biggest losers as well in a minute. But this is the same for Cura.com, which is another user generated website, right? So people can generate their own content directly inside Cura. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best content, but what you can see is over time, their traffic has increased as well. If we check out, let's have a look at YouTube.com, see how they've performed ever since. You can see their traffic has increased since the core update. So a lot of websites where people can generate their own content, user generate content, have performed really well. And the other thing that's played out is a lot of e-commerce sites are performing really well, right? So for example, you put in dogster.com and you'll see that ever since the update, their traffic has gone up really nicely too. Let's wait for that to load. And by the way, if you have any questions whilst we're going through some of these updates, feel free to post them. I've got a few minutes before I go to the gym, so I thought I'd create this quick update for you today. And yeah, it's just interesting to see the whole drama. Yeah, so you can see, for example, Dogster.com, their traffic is basically in a vertical line since the update, right? So they went from like 1.8 million as an estimate. I'm sure that's not 100% accurate, to 7.2 million. Pretty insane right here. Now, in terms of who took a hit, we'll come on to that in a minute. But one of the other things I was just talking about, if you didn't see it already, is this thing about the Google earnings course. So some people, and it is a bit of a conspiracy theory, really, have said that Google held off announcing the end of the Google Core update because of the Q1 earnings call, which you can see right here. Now, I honestly don't think the earnings calls are going to be impacted by Google Core update, especially because earnings calls are like the previous quarter, right? So this is what happened from January to March. And typically people outside of the SEO bubble don't really care about Google updates, but it's an interesting theory to see that and to see how the announcement of the end of the Google Core update was announced 7 days after the earnings call, apparently. I don't know if that's 100% true. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them. If you're enjoying this video, please feel free to smash a like on the video. But yeah, just to recap. So we've covered user-generated content and how these websites are performing really well. So Reddit, Quora, Amazon, eBay, Pinterest, YouTube, Etsy, these websites are doing really well. E-commerce sites doing really well as well afterwards. And one of the other most interesting stories about all of this was how these publishers, so for example, Google for Publishers, if you've seen this already, a lot of these sites, in fact, I would say most of the sites that are making money and have been showcased as a case study on Google's website right here have taken a hit since the update, right? So let's take, for example, 30seconds.com, just as a random example. Let's see how they've done since the updates. We'll wait for that to load. But what I've seen so far from a lot of these sites uh, during the helpful content update is that they've taken a hit, right? So, for example, the helpful content update was back here. They've actually not done too badly. Let's check them out on Ahrefs and see how they've done. 30seconds.com. Yeah, so you can see since January, their traffic is just sliding down. And this is a website that's monetized with Google Ads, right? So they're making money with Google Ads. That's why they've been showcased as a publisher on the Google for Publishers website. Let's check a classic twist as well. We'll see how well they're performing since the updates too. So if you check them out, yeah, the traffic is pretty much stagnated or it's gone down since the helpful content update. And let's check one more, which is a lady in London. We'll see how they're performing too. Because one of the theories that I've seen since the core updates is websites that are monetized with ads are the ones taking the biggest hits. Now, niche sites and affiliate sites as well, but mostly these sites monetize with ads. So let's plug that into Ahrefs and we'll see how it's performing. A lady in London.com. Yeah, so again, you can see since the helpful content update, website monetized for ads, kind of like a niche site, it looks like, and their traffic has gone down. And these are not like your bog standard niche sites. These are real businesses, right? Real companies, real people. Quite often they have a physical presence somewhere. So you can see, for example, these guys, Arcadium, building their own board games, for example. Pretty crazy to see that. Let's look at some of the questions. We've got Akram posting a few questions right here, who says, the stock market tends to overact on any news. I believe Google stock took a dip when the Google Core update was rolling out. So let's have a look at Google's stock price right here, and we can pull up an example. Last time I checked, their stock price was higher than ever. And let's have a look. We'll pull it up right here. Yeah, so if we look at Alphabet, who owns Google, of course, we look at their stock price, it's absolutely blown up, right? So when was the March the 5th update? It did seem to take a little bit of a dip, but you can see since the updates, it's gone up to $173. So Google is actually performing really well in terms of performance on the stock market, and their price has gone up nicely. They might have taken a little dip. I just don't know whether a core update would impact their stock price that much. because it's just like a tiny little slice of the whole business, and they've got so many different businesses. Plus, I think as well, investors, they would care if like a lot of people were openly and publicly, very publicly complaining about, how bad Google is. But from what I've seen, quite often people are still happy about this. I was speaking to a mate yesterday who he's in Dubai, and he, for the first time ever, saw search generative experience pop up on Google, right? So if you haven't seen this already, these are basically the AI results on Google where it's like, right, what is SEO? And then you can see search generative experience creates a update right here. And he was like, what's going on? He messaged me straight away because he knows I do SEO. And we were talking, and I was like, do you prefer the results from SG? And, for you seeing it the first time? And he was like, yeah, like I actually prefer the results you get. So it's quite interesting to see that people outside of our bubble, a lot of them still like Google as a product. And I can see why the stock price is going up over time. Alcan says, don't you think at some point there will be recoveries for websites hit by the HCU September update? So one of the things that I've actually seen, let's see if we can find some updates on Twitter about this. One of the things that I've seen is that websites that got hit by the HCU back in September or August have actually continued to get hit since then, right? So here's an example. This is by Thomas Jepson. He's like, Google got SEO wrong, blah, blah, blah. But you can see that sites that got hit by the helpful content update back in August last year have continued to see a decline. And I don't know if there's been some sort of classifier on HCU hit websites where, this last update is kind of like the final nail in the coffin, right? So they've been kind of hit even more since the last updates. So it's quite interesting to see that. I haven't really seen any public case studies or examples of websites that have been recovered since the helpful content update last year. Here's another example. So this was by Luke Jordan. You can see his site was getting like 45,000 clicks a day, and that's dropped down to pretty much zero right here. Absolutely crazy. Here's another example. Yeah, I've just seen so many examples of sites that continue to decline because they were in a negative state since the helpful content update, and then it's just dropped down and down and down. Akram says, do you think de-indexing and clapping is over? I think it's over until about 6 days later, right? So there's going to be another update coming soon, which is the March the 5th site reputation abuse update. And I think there's going to be even more drama, even more crazy stuff. I haven't seen a lot of predictions on May the 5th and what's coming up. But yeah, there's another update coming on May the 5th. I was even considering doing a live YouTube countdown like New Year's Eve, but for the May the 5th update, because I think there's going to be some crazy stuff that happens. And I think some massive websites, bear in mind, this is targeting like bigger DR websites with a lot of authority. And Google already said there's going to be some manual actions coming out. So there's going to be even more drama. There's going to be even more de-indexing, I reckon, even more claps, and some big sites that are kind of abusing their authority to rank for all sorts of keywords could potentially get targeted. So the drama is nowhere near finished, I think, in terms of updates this year. And I think Google are trying to make examples out of a lot of people. So it's an interesting time for SEO for sure. For example, I mean, like outlookindia.com, they're still ranking, and they're still ranking for a lot of keywords. I know plenty of SEOs who have published on Outlook India recently and still ranked on Google for their target keywords. So these sorts of sites, could they get clapped in the next update? Big chance, big chance. Indanil says, hey, video, download a website up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure what the question is right there. But I also want to run through some of the latest comments on my YouTube channel as well whilst we're here, and cover some new questions that I haven't answered before. So let me pull up the comments right here. And just whilst we're on the core update, I just want to recap what we've talked about today. So we have covered Google and the longest update ever, the whole situation about Google actually completing it before publicly announcing it, the conspiracy theories around earnings calls, the feedback form that Google have released, and then also who are the winners, right? So the winners so far have been UGC sites and e-commerce sites, and who took a hit, mainly sites monetized with ads, honestly. Sites hit by the helpful content update last year also tended to decline on average, and niche sites as well. So, winners, losers, and all the drama so far. So, let's cover some of the latest questions right here, and we can run into it. Akram says you should definitely make that countdown video. Absolutely. May the 5th, I might stay up. I usually sleep about 9 or 10 p.m., honestly, but for that one, this could be a very interesting time. So maybe I will stay up. And Web Ninja AI says if a site is hit, do you suggest trying to fix anything or continue to publish your content or just wait and do nothing? I think because the update is rolled out already now, I would continue to publish like normal. I think even if there's an update, you can continue to publish, but just not go really hard. And one of the things that I would say about this whole situation is like these updates, that things are going to change, right? So May the 5th, things are going to change again. The core update is just rolled out, so it's still fresh off the bat. There could still be some volatility right there, and just don't make any drastic changes right now. School Me says, do you have an SEO course? If you do, what's the link? So if you want to join my community that comes with some courses and that sort of thing, you can check out the SEO Mastermind inside the description of this video. That comes with courses, private WhatsApp group for case studies, Discord community, loads of courses, 2 weekly coaching calls with me, etc. Lots of value in there. But if you just want a community of people, which I know some people in the community do, then you can join at SEOboardroom.com and you'll get access to my Discord community. But either way, yeah, feel free to join. Hope to see you in there in either of those. So let's run through some of these questions right here. So DN says, really informative video. This was about increasing my domain rating to DR70 in 72 hours. And they said, quick question. Are 10 very good links better than, say, 200 bad do follow backlinks? So, yeah, when it comes to link building, it's always about quality over quantity, right? Because, for example, it doesn't matter how many bad links you build, like, 5 bad quality links doesn't help you. 500 bad quality links doesn't help you, right? It's all about quality. So, for example, if you get like one DR80 backlink from a super relevant, authoritative source in your industry, who's getting a lot of traffic, who's respected by everyone, that actually makes sense to link to you, that link is worth like 1,000 bad links that you might buy off like fiverr.com or in this example, right? And so you always have to focus on quality, not quantity. And PHP says, bro, what's the May the 5th update? All right, let me pull this up for you. I thought everyone would know about this. That's why I didn't go too much in depth in it. But let me pull this up and I'll show you an example of what I mean, right? So Google have this list of ranking updates, and actually they haven't put it in there, but let's pull it up right here. Try and find it. Here we go. All right. So Google on their official page about the new ways of tackling spammy, low quality content on search, they have talked about on May the 5th, they're targeting site reputation abuse, right? Now, what site reputation abuse is basically like super high DR websites, like DR70, DR80, etc., have their own content, but also host low quality content on the site by third parties. So people who don't own the site, with the goal of capitalizing on the hosting site's strong reputation. So, one of the good things about this, right, is if you have a low DR site that isn't getting much traffic, isn't getting much attention, then I think this update can only benefit you. Because the problem is right now, if we type in something into Google, I don't know, like best lawyers New York, we'll type something like that into Google. And what you'll typically find, if we plug this in, is a lot of authority. Let's do another one. Let's do like, I don't know, best lawnmowers, right? So what you're going to find if you type in best lawnmowers into Google, really specific term, right? What you would normally hope for is that some expert on lawnmowers is creating an article reviewing all the lawnmowers and tells you the best ones. But what you'll actually find ranking on the first page of Google is right at the top is sites like New York Times, right? And the ranking number one for a keyword like best lawn mowers. Now, I wouldn't say the New York Times, as much as I respect them, are the experts at lawn mowers, but they're ranking number one. Why is that? It's because they've got a lot of authority. They're like the biggest name in the game. Same for like Witch.com, same for CNET, etc., The Independent. A lot of big publications can rank for these super specific terms, even though they're not the expert on this, right? And so what happens quite often in the SEO space is that people can't rank their own site. So they'll publish parasite content on other big publications, for example, I don't know, Outlook India. And then that's probably the one that we all know. And then they can rank on the first page within 24 hours without having to wait for their own small website to rank, which might take like 6 or 9 or 3 months. And so Google are trying to clamp down on that because it's basically abusing a website's reputation to rank. So, for example, a third party might publish a payday loan review on a trusted educational website to rank number one. And so they're trying to cut down on that and consider it spam. And what they've said is that on May the 5th, there'll be more updates algorithmically and in terms of manual actions as well. So crazy times right there. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next. Let's see what other comments we've got recently. If you do have any other questions, feel free to post them. Otherwise, I'll keep going through some of these questions right here. So user says, following you on all my email accounts, want to see you get to 100,000 followers soon. Hopefully we do get there. I mean, at the minute I'm at 78,400 subscribers. So not far off there. I think across all my channels, so for example, LinkedIn, my Facebook groups, YouTube, Twitter, my email list, etc., Udemy, we probably have about, I would say, 250,000 followers across each channel, in total, which is pretty crazy. That didn't used to be the case 12 months ago. So yeah, the growth, thanks to everyone who watches, is absolutely amazing. Electronic Earnings says I mispronounced levers in this video right here. I got too caught up in chatting to Jesse, who's from America, and totally mispronounced levers inside that video. Shark Pixel says, I would love to consult your company on video production value, lighting, sound, screen, capture, callouts, etc. So for me, the reason that I can publish so much content at such scale, right? So I can publish a YouTube video pretty much every single day, some of them being like nearly an hour long, as you can see right here. I can publish like long trainings, like, for example, all of these videos are like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 42 minutes, 1 hour, etc. The reason that I can do that is because I don't worry about production value. And for me, if I look at the people who spend a lot of time on production value in my industry, I see that a lot of them spend tons of time without getting the results that they actually want. And so for me, I was like, right, I'm just going to focus on content, focus on giving value, not worry about production value. And ever since I've done that, it's paid off a lot, which means that I don't worry about lighting or sound or screen captures or anything like that. I just focus on giving value and helping people. And that's why I do some of these lives as well. So let's keep going through right here. But yeah, if anyone does want a free consultation, feel free to check out the link inside the comments description. You can get a free consult with us. And if you want us to look at your site, answer your questions, etc., feel free to book that in. That's a free SEO call with a real person as well. Let's keep going through right now. So A says, did SEO work? Absolutely. SEO is working better than ever. Like, have you seen, for example, the case study inside the local SEO video right here? I show case studies of multiple sites ranking with local SEO, some of them my own. And yeah, it's just easier than ever to rank with local SEO. And additionally, if you saw this video, where is it right here? Is AI SEO dead? You'll see me showcase 5 different AI site case studies that are ranking. A lot of people have this misunderstanding that the latest core updates were about targeting AI sites, but they absolutely weren't. Like, from what I've seen, loads of AI sites are performing better than ever and getting hundreds of thousands of traffic every month. And it's not about that, right? From what I've seen, it tends to be the sites that got hit and hurt the worst were sites that either got hit by the helpful content update last year, or are niche sites, or have been monetized with ads. Like, those 3 types of sites tend to get hit the most. Electronic Earnings says, what do you use? I use StreamYard for lives. Yeah, StreamYard is my favorite platform for live streams right here. And Ismail says, for digital products website, is a blog post the best way to get traffic from SEO? Yeah, I mean, blog posts are a really good way to get traffic from SEO because, for example, if you have a digital product, let me pull up an example. We'll do some keyword research right here. Let's say you have an SEO course, right? And you're selling an SEO course online. What you can do is you can just find easy keywords to go for. In fact, we'll pull up Clixo. I'll show some of you, because some of you might not have the budget for Ahrefs, but you can probably afford Clixo. Links inside the comments. And I'll show you an example of how this works, right? So let's put SEO course into the keyword research inside Clixo right here, and you just want to start off with your main topic, and then you can find some blog posts to create that would potentially get you sales for that course that you're selling online, but are much easier to rank for, right? Because if I went for SEO course, it's too difficult. So what I can do in here is I can put the keyword difficulty filter as say 30 maximum, and then I'll try 20, and I can see there's still some keywords left. So I'm going to go for 10, right? And what you can see right here is, for example, like SEO course NYC, Squarespace SEO course, Amazon SEO course, my Diggity SEO course, right? So these three keywords right here are all people looking to buy SEO courses potentially, which means that if you create a blog post or a sales page, even, it doesn't necessarily have to be a blog post. I think for these three keywords, probably more like a sales page related keyword. But you can see is pretty easy to rank for. They've got a CPC, which means that they're commercially viable, aka people bid on these keywords to make money. And so if you created a blog post around, say, SEO course NYC and ranked for it, you could potentially get digital product sales to your course about SEO. And you can mimic that same strategy for any single industry, right? So you could change SEO course to personal training course or yoga course or relaxation course. So whatever industry you're in, works over and over again. Just got to go in 5 minutes to the gym, but I'm going to answer these questions quickly to help people right here. So Web Ninja AI says, does this production value thing work for blog posts? Yeah, I mean, for blog posts, again, I don't think it's about having all the fancy bells and whistles, but I do think it's about delivering the content and answering the question in the best possible way. If you want to learn more about that, check out my free SEO course, links inside the comments description. And that comes with a manual SEO content quality checklist where you can run through step by step how to create the best content. I don't think it's the highest production value that wins. And for example, a great example of that is Chris Williamson, right? So if you look at Chris Williamson, probably the biggest podcaster on YouTube right now, I think he's grown to like 2 million subscribers, something like that, just a random lad from Newcastle. So basically, he recorded 750 episodes from his bedroom, right? So he recorded 750 podcast episodes from his bedroom with no production value, no quality control, really, etc. Just focus on the quality of content and absolutely blew up from there. It's called Modern Wisdom on YouTube. And so production value, you don't need to worry about too much. It's more about how can you give value. And Indanil says, was SEO removed in Google from new update? I don't really understand the question, but SEO is working better than ever, honestly. And A says, any free AI checker other than Originality AI? I've not seen any decent ones that I would trust, right? So there's a lot of free AI checkers out there, but have I seen any that I would reliably think, yeah, these are great for checking AI detection? Not so far. Let's keep going through. Electronic Earnings says, here's one for you, Julian. If you had a site, let's pull this up on the big screen. If you had a site that is indexed but isn't shown in SERPs, what would you do? Register a new domain and move the content? So it depends. Like if it's just a brand new site that's never had any traffic before, then I would just keep publishing to that site, keep building backlinks, etc., and just rank it that way. If it's a site that I've had for a while and I've published a lot of content and it's still not ranking, then I would look at the content, look at the backlinks of the site, and just compare the gap versus me and my competitors and see what I need to improve to bridge the gap. And then if it's a site that actually receives, say, a manual action penalty on Google via, say, Search Console or something like that, then it's time to switch domain and change things over. So it really depends how you do it. Akram says, I really like how you carefully select other influencers on the channel. Are you planning on getting someone else soon? Yeah, so we got a Flipboard expert coming soon, which is going to be pretty cool. The reason that I'm covering so many different ways to get traffic outside of SEO is because I want to help those people who got hit by the updates. And I think that a lot of people might have been hit and affected by the Google Core updates recently, which means I want to find other ways that they can learn how to get free traffic for free with my free videos on YouTube and still get results, right? So that's what it's all about. But yeah, we've got Flipboard expert coming soon. I'm trying to get Kaval Shao on the channel as well, because I think he's a good one to interview about about e-commerce SEO. Sorry, I mispronounced his name, Gabal Shah. So yeah, I've messaged him recently as well. We want to get him on the channel. But yeah, for me, I look at anyone who can provide value, and with interviews as well, it's a lot about timing, right? So you have to kind of see what people are interested in, figure out, okay, what topics can you put on your channel that would be interesting right now based on the current sentiment of the audience, and then go from there. So for example, if I published about Pinterest traffic, say 6 months ago, no one would care about it. But right now, because of the core updates and what's happened, and people are looking to diversify their traffic and reduce the risk of SEO, that's why, I get people on about Facebook ads or Pinterest or whatever, or Flipboard. And Electronic Earnings says it's an established site, not a new site, right? So if you've been hit, it sounds like you got hit by the updates, right? So it's an established site that potentially was getting traffic before, but now it isn't appearing on the search results at all. So what I would do personally, this is just me and the way that my mind works, is that I would set up multiple other sites targeting the same keywords to reduce the risk, right? And try and recover my traffic. And if you know what keywords converted previously when you were getting traffic, then you know what keywords to target on the new sites. It's quite easy to set those up. If you want to learn how to do that, just check out my SEO mastermind, because it teaches you exactly what to do and how to do it. But that's what I would do personally. And then I would try and recover my existing site, because if you've been hit by the core update, then you can still recover it by just holistically improving the site. But it's going to be another 6 months before you get that traffic back, right? Because typically, if a site gets hit in this core update, it's not going to get its traffic back until the next core update. And then if you got hit by the helpful content update, I haven't seen a single case study published where a website recovered, right? Which is pretty sad. And so in that case, I wouldn't even bother trying to recover the domain at this point, unless it was making, like, say, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Andy says, "Hello, Mr. Goldie. You are my SEO hero. Thank you very much. I'm just another, geezer trying to figure out SEO like you. Like, I wouldn't say I'm the world's best SEO or anything like that. I know some people accuse me of trying to be an SEO guru, but I've said multiple times I'm not like the best in the world at SEO. I see myself more as a marketer, and I love talking about SEO. I love the community and the audience that we've built on this channel. But for me, I just enjoy SEO. I actually do it myself. I talk about it. I showcase my experiments. I don't try and, like, say that I'm the best in the world at SEO or anything like that. Empower Today says thank you. Web Ninja says, wow, makes sense. Electronic Earnings says site didn't get the manual action penalty, but it's definitely affected by the March update. It's still indexed, but not showing in subs. Yeah, so it sounds like you got hit by the core update. And if that's the case, then you have to wait till the next core update and just holistically fix your site. And in the meantime, I would set up multiple sites in the same niche, targeting similar keywords that can convert, and then just go from there and just reduce the risk. Additionally, if your site was already converting, then what I would recommend is you try and get traffic from other sources to grow your business, right? So for example, it could be from Pinterest, from Facebook ads, from email, all the other traffic channels that I've mentioned recently. I've got 8 different ways of diversifying your traffic inside my free SEO course. Links into that inside the comments. And that has some SOPs and some processes on exactly how to replicate it based on what's working for me. And Web Ninja says, wow, do you know that your site is hit by which update? How do you know it was hit by the helpful content update, for example, and not by any other update? So what you can do, this is a really good question actually, is you can go back to the core update announcements. Let me find this. Present my screen. I'll show you an example of what I mean. I've got to go in like 2 minutes. So I've got a gym session with my personal trainer. So what you can see right here is on Google's search status dashboard, inside the incidents and the ranking section, you can see all the incidents reported for rankings, right? So you can see the updates that came up. And what you want to try and do is match the update with the date that your site took a hit, right? As an example of that, let's pull up a random example. I don't know, like chipperbirds.com. I think this was hit by the helpful content update last year. So you can see it was rising in traffic like really nicely. And then it just got hit by the helpful content update and eventually got de-indexed manually. But what you can see right here is back in August, it got hit, right? That's when it took a dive. And so what I would do is match the date that my website took a dive to the month that the update was announced. So I can see I was hit by the helpful content update because actually the traffic was going up, and then it was in September that it got hit. the update in September was a helpful content update. So I know that site got hit by that. And the same, for example, if you got hit by the core update, let's pull up an example right here. Roastycoffee.com. I think that was another publisher example on Google's website. So you can see their traffic got hit as well by the August update, it looks like right there. So again, you would match that back and you'd be like, right, you got hit by the core update. And then it seemed to take even bigger hits after the helpful content update as well. And Ismail says, bro, I'm struggling with WordPress themes. Can you recommend a good theme that you use? So what I recommend for WordPress is that you use whatever theme you want. I don't think there's any like really amazing one. GeneratePress probably is one of the best. But then from there, just install Elementor. And Elementor gives you a lot of customization over the theme, which means that you can edit it and design it in the way that you want. And I think that gives you more freedom and control over how the theme looks than any other theme, right? If you try and tweak the dials on most themes, it's quite confusing. If you use Elementor, I tend to find it's easier and it gives you more control and you can edit whatever you want. It tends to look nicer. So the sites that I've seen that look the best typically are through that. Electronic Earnings says, Facebook have suspended me from managing pages for 30 days for violating the terms, even though I haven't. Yeah, I mean, Facebook, just like any other platform, right? The world that we live in, where you try and run an online business, is that we live in a world where there's lots of intermediaries between us, right? And the problem with that is that any of these can clap you at any time. And so one of the best things that you can do with all of these traffic sources is build an email list. Because if you build an email list, even if your Twitter gets taken down and then YouTube goes down and then someone takes out your LinkedIn and then your websites all get clapped, it doesn't matter because you still got that email list and you can email those people at any time, right? So that's probably one of the safest sources of traffic. But yeah, we live in this world where, you can get clapped at any time. All right. Thanks so much, everyone who's been watching. Appreciate you all. If you enjoyed this, please smash a like on it. And I will see you on the next one. If you want to get a free SEO strategy session about how to get more leads, traffic, and sales from SEO, feel free to book that in. Links in the comments. It's a free consultation. Like, we'll just jump on with you, answer your questions, give you real-time advice, etc. And then if you want to join my community, you can join that at SEOboardroom.com. That is our Discord community. And if you want to join the SEO Mastermind, links in the comments to that too. All right. Appreciate everyone who's watching. See you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.